G'day guys, what's cracking? It's Ralph here. I'm down at Burleigh Beach and the surf is pumping. You can't see it, but I'll put the drone up and give you a look in just a minute. But it's epic this morning, which isn't what I expected. It's also a little bit windy, so hopefully we can sneak this in before the wind gets up. So this is the Insta360 One R action camera. And if you would have seen previous video that I've done on it, I've done a couple of videos on it, but a previous video I looked at the 5 issues with it. And since then, since that video, there has been a couple of developments. One of those developments is that I have an epic cup of coffee from The Nook, which if you're ever in Burleigh, this place is worth a look. It takes an amazing coffee and is just down there, and some of you have purchased this coffee for me. And so I really sincerely thank you and enjoy on your behalf. And if anyone else would like to, there's a link below where you can shout me a coffee, because I love a good coffee. The second development is that 6 months ago, Insta360 brought out maybe the most epic and significant firmware update that any camera company has ever seen. And they achieved some epic feats with this firmware, including a quick capture, which records from nothing for the previous 2 seconds onwards, horizon leveling at 30 frames a second at 4K mod, and at the 1-inch sensor. They fixed the audio, the sharpness levels, they've improved. Car multi-view, so you can use the 360 and split the footage of what the front and the back see at the same time. Vivid color profile, they've increased the time shift ×6 of a speed and stabilized it to 4K with 50 frames a second. And they've done loop recording on a dash cam. Talk about bringing the heat. Well done, Insta360. And there's a ton of videos out there that explain what those different functions can do. That's not what this video is about. This video is a follow-up to a video I released which talked about the 5 issues I had with this camera. 5 issues, and I'll put a card up here and you can go to that video now. If you watch it to the end, there's a link back to this video so you can be up to speed. So 5 issues that I had with this, and since making that video and talking with other people, another 5 issues have come to mind. So that 10 issues that this camera had prior to the 6 months ago firmware update. And this video is about, has the firmware update actually fixed the issues? Like, it's brought a bunch of cool functionality, but has it fixed the issues? And that's what we're looking into today. Enjoy Burleigh. So as we push in, I'm going to explain what those 10 issues are, and then we're going to go through them one by one with a firmware update to see if it's really made a significant difference. The Insta360 One R takes 7 seconds to power on. It delays to record after pressing the button. It takes 3 seconds to power off. After you stop recording, it takes 4 to 5 seconds to process the footage that you've just taken. The side door plug is a shocker. The Wi-Fi connectivity is an issue because if the camera is already on, the app cannot connect. The Wi-Fi loses connectivity while shooting, and there's no time-lapse preview on the app. There's an unexpected shutdown, which I think is because of the heat. The Wi-Fi loses connectivity while editing. You can add a heap of functionality to the camera, but if it doesn't work smoothly and reliably, that's a big issue. That's why I've gone with the DJI Osmo Action as opposed to the GoPro 9 or 10 or 10's not out yet, but maybe it is by the time you watch this. So reliability is so important because it holds your footage. It means you can use your footage, it remembers your footage, and it takes good footage. And to take good footage, every action camera out there that's worth its salt, even from the XT-US3 all the way through your Acaso range, they all take good footage. We want the best, and it has to be reliable. So, are you reliable? Well, let's see. First issue, we're going to see how long it takes for the Insta360 One R to turn on. By my count, that was 7 seconds. Now we're going to press the record button and see how long it takes to record. Oh, that wasn't too sharp, was it? We're looking for a better than 3 second shutdown rate. Yeah, I'll give it that. We've been recording on 4K now for about 7 minutes, so I'm going to stop it and we're going to see how long it takes for me to be able to use the camera again as it processes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 seconds. Nah. What about this little door? See the little door? Firmware update's never going to fix the little door. It's like, you knew that. As you started watching it, you probably got a bit mad when I first said it. You're like, no, you can't judge it on that. Yeah, it's true, you can't. Firmware update's never going to fix the little door. Little door's still an issue. The next challenge before us is that when the Insta360 One R is turned on, the app finds it very difficult, if not impossible, to connect with it. So we've got the camera on. Let's fire up the app, see if we can get this puppy connected. Get started. Boom, fixed, well done. Ah, that is great news. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna shoot with this. I press record, it's shooting on 4K. And what I wanna see is if the Wi-Fi connectivity maintains its signal strength. And so far, it's looking really good. Just point it out there, like a beautiful Burleigh beach. This is where I live, guys. This is nuts, right? Wow, so blessed, so blessed. We're just gonna let this run for a couple of minutes. I think it's only fair to do that. And I'm actually gonna take it a little bit further away from the phone to see if it's at half a meter, less than that at the moment. I'm gonna put it at 3 meters and see if that makes a difference. I'm now standing at 3 meters away, and that's looking really good. Still recording. I'm now at 5 meters away, and I'm going to press stop and see if it stops. It has stopped, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see it start. Oh, come on. Wi-Fi connectivity. The Wi-Fi is exceptionally better. Exceptionally. I'm very happy. Very happy. The other thing I struggled with is a time-lapse preview. And I can actually time-lapse preview quite easily through this now. But I just want to do something first. I'm going to disconnect the app. I'm going to set up the time-lapse. I'm going to reconnect the app and see how that goes. Because what happens when you're out in the field is often you set the camera up and then you go, oh, I should plug in the app now. And the DJI Osmo Action does this flawlessly without like ever a glitch. So I want to see how the Insta goes with this. So shut down the app, turn on the screen. It's got time lapse on, and then what I want to do is open up the app, which I've completely shut down. I'm going to go to camera, searching. Yes, yes. This is good. This is really good news. The Wi-Fi issue with this camera was what would make it excel, because you do a lot of the editing on the 360 mod, especially on your phone, and the Wi-Fi was so sketchy. This is looking good. I'm impressed. The two remaining challenges to overcome or issues to address is one, the overheating issue, and two is the editing via the app. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive through Surfers, which is behind me. It's about 10K. In fact, I know it's 10K because I ran it twice in a previous life from where we were before. And I've mounted the 360 mod on the One R on my roof with a GoPro suction cap. I'll put links in the description for all this stuff. I would not recommend doing this, but I'm going to do it. So the idea is that it's a hot day, this is hot, the sun's hot, there's not a cloud in the sky. We're going to see if it overheats as we drive around for 15 or so minutes, and then I'm going to sit down and edit that footage with the 360 camera on the app. And we're going to know by the end of that if there's any issues. Plus, if there's a connectivity issue, we'll also discover that, which relates back to a previous point. But so far, it's looking really good. So let's get going. That worked exceptionally well because the camera didn't fall off and smash or wreck my car or wreck somebody else's car or kill a pedestrian on the way past. So that was a win. Also, the app, I had full control over when it was on and when it was off, on what mode it took, what shooting settings it went on, and a whole host of other things. So that was really, really good. It didn't freeze and it didn't overheat. So I wonder if the overheating was a freak anomaly that one time. So now what we're going to do is take the footage, which was 15 minutes in 5.7K at 30 frames a second. So it's no small file. We're going to run it through the app and see if that can be processed and edited. See if that can be processed and edited. So what we're going to do to end this off is I'm going to do a screen capture on my phone and edit the data. Hopefully we'll see a marked improvement on previous editing experiences I've had with this camera that could change the way this camera is used. I think it's had enough, but we're going to push on. How's that? Flawless, except on the 94th percentile it ran out of battery. Not its fault at all. User error. I'm excited. I'm really excited because they fixed the Wi-Fi problem. Insta360, thank you for watching my previous video, and even though you didn't comment, for taking that on board and fixing those problems. Honestly guys, I was about to sell this, all of it. I was just frustrated. I hadn't used it, as you know, 6 months ago, and I still hadn't improved the firmware because I used other gear. However, I'm excited because the factors that really matter, that make this camera really stand out, other than the 360 mod, are the things that have been fixed. And as a user, that makes me feel valued, and I really appreciate it. So if you guys have had any issues with the Insta360 that I've not covered or not tested, put in the comments below, because I'd love to chat about them, and potentially there's another video there that might help you out. If you've had your hope renewed in this camera, please let me know. And if you've given up on it, I'd also like to know. There's a bunch of other cameras that Insta360 have made, which I'd love to try out, but obviously I can't afford, so you might not see that on this channel unless Insta360 throw a couple my way and say, here you go, have a crack at this. But until that happens, please subscribe below, give us a thumbs up, join the channel, join the creative crew. There's a Facebook group which I'd love for you to be part of and see what you come up with in your imagery and your creativity, and so on and so forth. Thanks heaps for watching, and from me on the Gold Coast, goodbye. Waiting for the wind to die down, and the parking inspectors are out and are booking like a ton of cars. It's paid parking here that ticks over at 9 o'clock. So, or it's an expensive day down the beach for some people. 1, 2, 5. I think I pressed the button correctly.